Hi, in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to create a multiple choice quiz in CodeIgniter using data extracted from the database. So I'll just show you what we'll be doing today. So we'll have our quiz. So when the user clicks start, they are presented with the quiz. Here we're doing a type geography quiz. So the user will select some answers. So for example, Madrid. This one is China. This one is Dubai, but we'll select Morocco as incorrect. We'll select an incorrect answer for this. Incorrect answer here. He'll make this one correct. The user will play the quiz, just answer these correctly, just like that. If the user clicks on submit, the user's correct answer will be displayed. So Madrid was the correct answer, so it's displayed in green. China was the correct answer, so it's displayed in green. However, if the user selected an incorrect answer, it will be displayed in red, and the correct answer will be displayed in green. Just like that. Also, at the bottom, the user can see their score. So here the score is 4 out of 10. And the user also has the option to play again. So if the user clicks on the play again button, they can play the quiz again. And again, so all this data is not hard coded. It's coming from the database. So here we have a quiz table which we created. If we go on browse, inside here we have our data, so the questions, the choices, and the correct answer. So to see how we made this multiple choice quiz using CodeIgniter PHP and having our data extracted from the database, please watch on. So I've got CodeIgniter set up on my local host, and this is what we are presented with. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my database table. So I'm just going to go here to my PHP, my admin. This comes with my local host. So depending on the host you're using, I'm using XAMPP. And I'm just going to go to my database. I'm going to create a new table. I'm going to name this quiz. I'm going to have it as 5 columns. So now we are going to insert the columns so the quiz will be presented with the data from the database. So the first thing we're going to have is the quiz ID. This will be the ID of each question and also the question number. And we're going to have a total of 10 questions. So it's going to be an integer. We're going to have it as 255. We're going to make it a primary key. And I'm also just going to click OK. And I'm also going to have it as auto increment. It's up to you whether you want this option on or off. So the next column we'll have is the question itself. This will be a varchar, and again we'll have it 255 and leave everything as it is. Here we'll have choice 1. So there will be 3 optional and 1 will be the correct answer. So choice 1, also varchar and 255. Choice 2, choice 3. We're going to add 1 more column, and this will include the correct answer. Also have it as a varchar and 255. And once that's done, I'm just going to go ahead and click save. Over here for the collation, I'm going to go down. This is up to you what you want to use depending on your language and requirements. But I'm just going to go down and I'm going to select use 8 general. Again, this is up to you depending on your requirements. I'm just going to click save. So now this is what we have. So these are all our columns. And as you can see, I've made the quiz ID a primary key and it's auto incremented. So now I'm going to go ahead and insert our data. So when I click the insert button, quiz ID, I'm going to have it as empty since I put it as auto increment. However, if yours is not auto increment, you should put the quiz ID number starting from 1. Again, it's up to you. And the question, so the first question I'm going to start off with is, what is the capital of Spain? So it's a geography quiz. So these two will be the incorrect answer and this will be the correct answer. So over here we can put Valencia, we can put Palma, we can put Barcelona, and the correct answer is Madrid. So now we'll put the next question. So the next question I'll have is, let's say, oops, what is the most populated country in the world? So the correct answer is China. And for the options, we'll have India, we can have United States, and again, maybe I'll put in, let's put in, I don't know, let's put in Africa. Okay, and now, just gonna click on go. If we go to structure and then sorry, browse, you can see here 2 of our data have been inserted. So I'm going to go ahead and insert more, and I'm going to have a total of 10 questions. However, again, it's up to you how many you would like to have. Now I have set up all my 10 questions. So we have the ID, the questions, the choices, and we have the correct answer. So now that's done. So now we're going to go back to our CodeIgniter. And with CodeIgniter, by default, we are presented with this page. Okay, so I'm just going to open up my CodeIgniter directory. So first of all, I'm going to go inside the config folder. I'm just going to open the database file quickly. Mine opens in Dreamweaver. It's up to you what software you want to use. So you just need to set up your database. So host name, you put the name of your host name, the username, password, and the name of the database. And then I'm just going to open the config file. Inside here, where it says base URL, I'll just put the name of my local host and the CodeIgniter folder. This is so when we link to other files and other paths, we don't have to write the whole thing as it's already ready here. And now I'm going to open my autoload file. Inside here, for the libraries, we're going to load the database library. And where it says helper, we're going to load HTML, URL, and form. This you have to do it yourself, so to type it in yourself. And that's about it here. Okay, so as you can see, the screen we are presented with is the Welcome to CodeIgniter screen. So if we go to our controller and we open the welcome.php file, you can see here that by default it loads the view welcome message, which is this view here. So if we go to the view folder and we open the welcome message file, this is basically the welcome to CodeIgniter file. We're going to change this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the controller, and now as you can see we have a welcome.php. I'm just going to open this. Instead of welcome message, I'm going to make it as quiz game, just like that. And I'm going to save it. So I'm going to do Command S. So instead of loading the welcome message view, we're going to load a view called quiz game. I'm just going to close this. I'm going to go back to our view. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to rename it quiz game, the same thing we named it over there. Just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to do, so when I open the file, I'm just going to remove this. We don't need this. Here I'm going to have it welcome to geography quiz as the title. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this part as well. Actually, we'll leave this. Just going to remove this. I'm going to remove this as well. So here I'm going to say welcome to geography quiz as the header. So now if I just quickly save this, okay, just minimize it, minimize this as well. If I refresh the page now, you can see here now it says welcome to geography quiz. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a button, so when the user clicks on that button, it will direct them to the quiz. So I'm going to open Dreamweaver again, so the same quiz game. Now inside here, I'm going to create a button that when the user clicks the button, it will go to the quiz. And to do this, I'm going to put it inside a form tag in HTML. The reason for this is because it gives us a method and it gives us an action. So the action is which controller and function it will direct the user to, and the method is how it will go. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do form method equals, and we'll leave this as blank, so it's not going to be a post or a get. And for action, so we just want it to go to this controller and function. What I'm going to do is instead of writing localhost/CodeIgniter, since we added that inside our base URL which I showed you, inside here I'm just going to do open, do this, do PHP echo base underscore URL, just like that. And I'm going to do question mark and close bracket. So this basically means whatever is inside the base URL, it will echo it out here. So in mine, it's localhost/CodeIgniter. Instead of having to write it myself, it's just more simpler. I'm then going to do, the next step is to do index.php. This is important as well for CodeIgniter, so this, you have to include this. You can also put this inside your base URL, however I like not to. I'm just going to do slash, and now I'm going to put the name of my controller. We haven't created a controller yet. However, I'm just going to put the name which I will name my controller, and I will name it the controller questions. The controller is best to have a capital first letter. And now the function inside the controller is next, and for the function I'm going to name it quiz display. Just like that. I'm just going to close that. Okay, so basically the form method, again, we leave this as blank since we're not actually posting any data or anything. And here we have the base URL followed by, I'm just going to remove the space, so followed by index.php, the name of the controller and the name of the function which we're going to create later. And now inside here, I'm going to create the button. So I'm going to make a submit button. So we do input type equals submit value. So the name, I'm going to have the button titled start, just like that. I'm just going to close the form. Okay, so now if I save this and minimize it, let's reload the page. You can see here the button is here. So when we click the button now, we need it to go to the controller and the function. Inside the function, we need to load the quiz. So I'm going to do now, it's going to open the view. So I'm going to go back now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside the controller. So here we have the welcome controller. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to copy the welcome controller parts, just so we don't have to write it ourselves. Just going to copy this. Just going to close this. I'm just going to close this if we don't really need it now. So now I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste this here. Okay. So we named it questions. we're going to name it questions, just like we named it in the view. So now when I open it, we're going to remove all this. We don't really need this. Remove this part as well. Okay, so now inside here, we're just going to change this from welcome to questions. So that's the name of the controller. And here the function, we named it quiz display. Just like that. Okay, so the next step we're going to do, we're just going to go down. And this is important. What we're going to do is we're going to have a construct just to get the parent. Just going to do it like this. Open bracket. Just going to close it here. So I'm going to do parent construct. With CodeIgniter, it's very important to have this at the top. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to load the database. I'm going to do this. Load database. Okay, that was my error. Just like that. Okay, so in every control you should have this on in every page. Okay, we did load it in the libraries, however I also like to load it here just in case. So now inside the quiz display function, I'm just going to remove this. Okay, and now inside here we're going to create some code to get the questions from the database. And to do this, we need to first of all go inside the model. So what we're going to do first is we're going to load the model. So we haven't created a model yet. So we're going to do $, this, load model. Just going to do open bracket. And we're going to name it quiz model. Again, we haven't created it yet, but we will. Oops. Just like that. And now what we're going to do is the next line of code is we're going to get the data, which will get, we're going to write the line of code which will get the questions from the model, from the database. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another $. Oops. So this data, I'm going to have it in an array. So the array name I will call it is example questions. Just going to close it. Equals this, again the name of the model, so it's quiz model. And now we're going to put the name of the function inside the quiz model. So we're going to name it get questions. This is the name of the function. And again, just going to close it. So what we're doing here is we're loading the model quiz model. We're calling the get questions function from the quiz model, and whatever is taken from here, we're going to put it inside an array called questions. So now, before I continue with this code, let me just show you by going inside the model. I'm just going to go back. I'm going to go to the model, and inside here, what I'm going to do actually first, I'm just going to go inside the controller, and again, I'm just going to copy the welcome. I'm going to go inside model and paste it here. I'm going to rename it quiz model, just like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly open the quiz model. And now, as this is a model, it is not a controller. So where it says welcome again, I'm going to have it as quiz model. And where it says extend CI controller, instead it will be extend CI model, just like that. So now I'm just going to remove this line of all this comments. I'm going to remove this one as well. Okay, So in the controller, we said we're going to call the quiz model and the get questions function. So now we're going to remove index and we're going to replace it with get questions. Just like that. So now inside the get questions, what we need to do is we need to write down an SQL statement to get the data from the database and the table which we created all our questions and the answers. So what we're going to do, we're going to do this database, select, I'm going to do open bracket, and we're going to select the quiz ID, the question, choice 1, choice 2, these are all the columns from the table that we created, choice 3, answer. I'm just going to close it, just like that. So again, it's basically like a select statement. You can do select star, I'm just going to show you how it works. So we have the quiz ID, the question, the choice 1, 2, 3, and answer. And now we're going to do, again, this database, so DB, from, inside here we put the table name. So we named ours quiz, just like that. Okay, so just to double check, again we have quiz ID, question, choice 1, 2, and 3, and answer. If we go here, again we have quiz ID, question, choice 1, 2, 3, answer, and the name of it is quiz. I'm just going to open it back up. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a variable called query. I'm just going to do $sign again. I'm just going to do this db get. This puts the data. This gets the data and puts it inside a variable called query. And I'm going to return the result. So I'm just going to do return query as result. Okay, and now I'm also going to do, I just want to count the number of data returned from the database. So I'm just going to create another variable. I'm going to do, again this is optional, so num data returned equals query, so num rows, the number of rows. I'm just going to do an if statement to say that if there's no data in the database, it will produce an error. So that's maybe something goes wrong. So I'm just going to do if num data returned is less than 1, just do an open bracket, close the bracket here, I'm just going to go echo, there is no data in the database, although hopefully this won't happen. Just going to close it and put a semicolon. I'm going to do an exit function. Okay, just like that. So now, as you can see here, we're selecting the columns from the database, from the table quiz table. Again, if you don't want to be extra as me, you can always just put select star. So as you want to save this, I want to go back to the questions. So now it makes more sense. So we're going to load the quiz model, and then we're going to go to quiz model, get questions functions, which is going to get the data returned, and it's going to put it inside an array called questions. So now what we want to do is we're going to load the view, so we're going to load the page. So we're going to do this, load view. The name of the view, we haven't created it yet, but we will name it play quiz. And now what I'm going to do is I'm also going to load this array inside the view. This is so that we can display all the questions and the answers and the multiple choices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do $this data, close it, semicolon. So again, we're loading the view play quiz and we're loading basically the array questions. And then we'll do a for each loop inside the play quiz view to load all the questions and data. So I'm going to save this. So now what we're going to quickly do is now we're going to create a view called play quiz. So again, I'm just going to minimize this. What I'm going to do is oops, not this one, sorry. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to view. I'm just going to copy this quiz game, paste it. I'm just going to rename it play quiz. Just like that. I'm just going to open it now. Okay. And now inside here, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to remove the things that we don't need. So things that we don't need are the form, for example. I'm also going to remove this one here as well. So instead it will be play geography quiz. And here we'll just have it as play the quiz. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to now get the data from whatever was extracted from the quiz model, which was the questions and the choices and the answer. So as you can see here, we got the data and we put it inside the questions array. So now, and we loaded it inside the play quiz view, which is here. So now what we're going to do is, before we go any further, let's just save everything. Let's just go here, refresh the page. So I'm going to click on start. It loads the page, play the quiz. So now here, we're going to display our quiz. So I'm going to open Dreamweaver. And now inside here, I'm going to create a for each loop. What this does is it iterates over the array questions, which is, we got it from here, questions, which has the data. So it iterates over the array and will display all the data such as the question and the answer. So what I'm going to do, open PHP. This needs to go inside of a PHP open and close. So we're going to do for each questions, again questions coming from the controller, as, and we're going to now store it inside another array and we're going to call it, let's call it row. I'm going to do open bracket, and I'm just going to close this PHP statement. Okay, so ignore this error. This error is because there's no closing bracket yet. Okay, so what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to shuffle. So as you can see here, let's go back to our database quickly. If we go structure, we have choice 1, 2, 3 and answer. So in the quiz, we don't want always the answer to be the last one, so because then the user will know that the answer is basically the last option. So what we're going to do now is going to use a PHP function called shuffle, and we're going to shuffle these 4 data elements. So if I go to open the quiz, so what I'm going to do, it again, open PHP. I'm going to create an array called ans array. I'm going to do equals array. And now inside here, what I'm going to do, $row coming from here, so the data that is extracted. I'm going to do choice 1, which is the column in our database. Row again, choice 2, which is the other column. So to extract the data, you always have to put row, which is the array we extract the data from, followed by the column name. again row again, choice 3, and last but not least, do row answer. Just going to close this. So now we're going to shuffle. So we're going to shuffle these up. So we're going to do shuffle answer array. Just going to close it, and again just close this PHP statement again. Okay. So now you will see this go into action and why we actually did this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start off by displaying our data. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a p tag. Make sure you close the PHP statement before you use any HTML code such as this. So p, again, first of all, I'm going to display the ID since the ID will be used as the question number. So I'm going to do p, whoops, so inside here, again, I'm going to do open PHP statement, and I'm going to do row, whoops, quiz ID, and now I'm going to close this. So we can't have it like this because it's open. So to close this, I'm going to do question mark. Just going to close it just like that. So this is the quiz ID, and then I'm going to have a dot over here. So after the dot, it will have the name of the question name, so the question itself. Then again, we'll open PHP statement again, row, question, again, just going to close it, just like that. So over here, we're going to display the quiz ID. So for example, 1 dot, I'm going to display the question. So it will be 1 dot, 2 dot the question, 3 dot the question name. So after this, now what we're going to do is we're going to have the radio buttons. So since the quiz will be radio buttons, we're going to have them. So this is where the shuffling comes in as well. So for HTML radio buttons, it works as input type equals radio. For the name, I'm going to have it as quiz ID, and then I'm going to have it as $. So row, and inside here I'm going to put the actual quiz ID from the database. So the name, so each question will have, for the name will have its own ID. Again, we'll see this put into practice. I'm just going to close it. I'm just going to close this as well with a speech mark. Okay, just like that. And now for the value will have the array from the shuffling answer array. Because like I said, if we didn't shuffle it, answer will always be the last one, or always be in the same position. It will always be in the same position being the last one, and we don't want that. So for the value, what we're going to do is I'm just going to do, again, open bracket, same as before. And what I'm going to do now is instead of doing row choice 1 then row choice 2, because it will be the same like that, I'm going to do answer array, which is here, which has all the array's choices. All I'm going to do is I'm going to do 0. So number 0 in the array. So by random, each one of these will display here. I'm just going to close this with a speech mark, and I'm also going to have it, actually I'll leave it like that for now. I'm going to close it. Okay. And now inside here, I'm going to put the name of the option. So again, same thing what I'm going to do. I'm just going to copy this, put it here, just like that. And I'm going to do a break statement here, just like that. So now I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this, paste it here as well. So again, same thing, radio button, so it can be 4 choices. The name of it will be the quiz ID name. The value this time will be 1, since there's 4, so 3 incorrect answers and 1 is the correct answer. And again, over here it will also be 1. So again, let's copy, paste it here. Now this one will be 2. And last one, this one will be 3. Now all these randomly will be the 3 incorrect answers and the answer. So for each question, it will shuffle and change. Because if we didn't do this, what we would have done is we would have had row choice 1, choice 2, choice 3 answer, and the answer will always be the last one, and we don't want that, of course. Okay, so now what we're going to do, it's going to go down, and I'm going to close it. So close this open for each statement, since we also have an error here, so it needs to close this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close it, so I'm going to do, whoops. So question mark, PHP, I'm going to do the closing bracket, I'm going to close the statement. Just like that. Okay, so now, if I'll save this, just make sure there's no errors, so no syntax errors, that's fine. I'll just minimize this, just gotta go here, let's go back, just refresh everything, and I click start. Now you can see the quiz ID, so 1 dot the question. So let's just compare it with the code that we did. So just like that. So here we do the for each statement. So here, first of all, what we did, so if you can see 1 dot what is capital of Spain, so here we get the quiz ID, and then we put the dot, then we put the name of the question. So again, so here it has all the data, we put it inside another array, so we have an array called row, and we just use this row to display the data. So now, as you can see with the shufflings, so Madrid is the correct answer, this is number 1. Over here, what is the most populated country in the world? The correct answer is China, so that is also as number 1. However, if you look at number 3, for example, what country is Burj Khalifa located in? That's being shuffled. So now the correct answer is Dubai, and Dubai went to number 4. What is the capital of Australia? Again, that's the same, so that's number 1. Where is Sudan located? The correct answer is North Africa, which is number 3. What country is Prague in? That's in the Czech Republic, that's number 4. So as you can see, what we did with the shuffling is it shuffles the answers. So the answer won't always be the last one. It's always going to be either number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4. And that was accomplished by using the PHP function shuffle. So now when the user plays the quiz, so for example, they can play the quiz just like so. But as you can see, user can select more than one answer. Of course, we don't want that to happen. Okay, so with the problem I had, where if you click, you can select more than one answer. This shouldn't happen. So I'm just going to open the code and see where I went wrong. And okay, here, I forgot to put the equal sign here. Just want to put them back here. So it was a little simple mistake. So if I want to save this now, okay, just going to go back, refresh the page and start. So, yeah, so now the user can only select one answer, so that was my mistake. Okay, so now quickly we're just going to look at the view page source. So as you can see, all the data is displayed here. So we can see input type radio, so the first question, so quiz ID 1, quiz ID 2, because don't forget, if we look again at the Dreamweaver code, for the name, we had quiz ID, and then inside here we put the name of the ID itself, based on the question. So we have 1, 2, 3, and again here, for the value, we have whatever values inside the answer array, which again has all 4 of the columns, but they're being shuffled, and they're displayed here. So here you can just see all your code, which is quite nice. Okay, so now the user will play the quiz. If you want the user to make sure they answer every single question, what you can do is just go inside here and just have it as required. This means that the user must answer every single question to submit the quiz. However, I think I'm going to have it as required. So let's start that. I'm just going to save it. Okay, so now when the user plays the quiz, there should be a submit button so the user can submit the answer. So this is what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to open our quiz. Okay, and inside here, so just after our header, we're going to create a form again so we can send all the data, so send all the user inputs to the controller. So again, I'm going to do open tag form method, and this time the method will be a post, since we're going to post all the users radio button values, so the option that is selected, so then we can see if they got it right or wrong. And action, again, instead of writing the same localhost / CodeIgniter, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do action, I'm just going to do open bracket question mark PHP a code base underscore URL question mark, just like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, again, I'm just going to have index.php, and now I'm going to go to the same controller, which is questions. You can make another controller if you wish. I'm going to use the same one, and this time the function will make it result display, just like that. I'm just going to close it and close the tag like that. Okay, and now we need to obviously close the tag, so make sure we just close the tag. Okay, so we close the form tag, just like that. Make sure you don't put it here or here, make sure it goes after the for each loop closing. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back, just going to save this. Also, let's not forget, I nearly forgot, we need to make a submit button. So I'm just going to put the submit button, I want to put it here. So after the quiz, you can put it before the quiz if you want. I'm going to put it after the quiz. So I'm going to do input type equals submit, value equals, again we're going to have it as submit, okay, exclamation mark, just like that. Just going to close it. Okay, so now if I save this, just going to go down, you can see our submit button is there. I'm just going to have a break tag here, just so the button can be a bit lower. And save it and refresh it again. See, the button is here now. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to our questions controller. So here we have a quiz display function, and inside the view play quiz, we say that it will go to the questions controller and it will go to the result display function. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back here and create, I'm going to copy this instead of writing it again. I'm going to close this with the tag, so closing tag for it. Okay, I'm just going to name this result display. So result display here, and again result display here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to post all the user's data from the radio button. So all the radio buttons that they selected, we need to post it inside this function. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to create an array for all the data to go into. So to do this, I'm going to do this data. I'm going to name it checks, so it will check each one, just like that. Equals array, so it's going to create an array called checks. It's going to have an open bracket like that. I'm going to have a closing one with a semicolon. Now inside here, I'm going to post each radio button the user selected. So to do this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a name. So what I'm going to do, for example, I'll name this one Quest1, for example, just like that. And then I'm going to do this input post. So I'm going to post, I'm going to open it, and now inside here, what we're going to do, so if I go back here and do view page source, we're going to post each one of the name for each question. So quiz ID 1, for example, copy that, paste it, comma. So here we just posted the first data that the user selected. So with the radio buttons, so if the user selected, for example, Madrid and clicked submit, Madrid will be passed along here. So again, I'm just going to copy this. This will be Quest2. This is up to you what you want to name it. However, I'm naming it Quest1 and Quest2, and it's up to you. And here, make sure again, quiz ID 2 coming from the name quiz ID 2. So here we're posting each value that the user has selected. And again, I'm just going to do the same for the rest of them. Oops. So Quest3, and again, I'm posting the ID number 3. So I've put all of the 10 IDs. So since there are 10 questions, I've posted all of them here inside the result display function. So I have quiz ID 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 10. And here I just put some names of quest 1, 2, 3, or again, it's up to you what you can name them here. So now inside here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to load again the quiz model. And again, we're going to get all the data from the database. So again, similar as before, we do this quiz model, which is here, the get question function. And we're going to get the quiz ID, the question choice 1, 2, 3 answer. So in the results display, we can display again all the questions and the choices and everything. And then we can use the answer fields to compare whether the user got the answer correct or incorrect. Here, instead of an array called questions, we're going to name the array results. Excuse me, sorry. We're going to name it results. So now what I'm going to do is again similar as we did here on top. We're going to do this load view, and instead of play quiz, we're going to name the view result display. And again here we have this data because we're going to load the array results, which will include all the data from the database. Okay, just like that. Just going to save this. sorry. I want to do now, whoops, I'm going to open the views, which is here. And what I'm going to do is just going to copy play. I want to copy quiz game. Actually, no, I'm going to copy play quiz just to make it easier. I'm just going to paste it, and I'm going to rename it result display, same as what we named in the controller. So here we named it, I'll just show you, result display, result display. So I'm going to do, just going to open this. Just going to minimize this. Okay, so now we have result display. Now it's going to be slightly similar, however we are going to make, I will say, quite a few big changes. Okay, so the first thing what we need to do first is, of course, we also want to present the score. The score we'll leave it as at the end for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some arrays first. I'm just going to go down here. Actually, I'm going to remove, we'll leave this here for now as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do PHP, just going to create an array. So array 1, equals array, just like that. I'm just going to close it. Okay, I'm going to create a total of 7 arrays. And I'll show you why we are doing this. So when we compare what the user selected, to see whether the user got it correct or not correct, we're going to do this in the view. Some people like to do it in the model, maybe on the controller. However, I'm going to show you how to check whether the user got it incorrect or correct inside the view. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to create 7 arrays. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I think we should need 7. Well, we'll have 7 for now. Okay, now what we're going to do is, inside the controller, here, whatever answer is selected, we put it inside an array called checks. As you can see, this data checks, and which has the user's input, and this data results, which has the data coming from the getQuestions function inside the model, which has the data from the database. We load it inside the result display view. So now what I can do is I can do a for each loop inside the result display and loop around what input the user selected from the radio buttons. So if I go here, and if I do, so what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to copy this just to make it a bit more easier for myself. Just going to go down here, just going to paste this. So for each, instead of questions, first we want to get the user selected answer. So we'll do for each checks. Checks again is the array which has the user's input from all 10 questions. Again, I'm not gonna have it as row. I'm gonna have it as, let's do check answer. So check answer. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, just gonna do this. I'm gonna open. I'm just gonna open another one. Okay, you don't need to. Just put it inside here. I'm gonna use the function array push. And now in this function, I'm gonna do, we're gonna get array 1. So here we created 7 arrays. Let's get the first one. So array 1. And I'm going to put the array check answer. Just going to close it, semicolon. So what I've done here is I've got the array check answer, again, which has the user's selected answer, and I put it inside another array called array 1. And I'll show you why I'm doing this. This is because it makes it more easier when it comes to comparing the questions. I mean, comparing the user's answer input and see whether the user got it right or wrong. I'm just going to close it. Okay, just like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do now, we want to create, actually, I'm just going to copy this. And this time, instead of checks, we're going to create a for each loop for the results. Again, this being the data from the database. So we do for each results, as I'm going to have it as res. Again, we're going to push each of the data inside the arrays. So array 1 is taken, and that has the user's selected answer. So we're going to have array 2, and inside array 2, it's going to be res. And inside here, I'm going to have the answer inside array 2. Just like that. I'm just going to put this more down. What I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this. So array 3 will have the question so we'll have the quiz ID. Array 4 will have the question. array 5 will have choice 1, array 6 will have choice 2, so move one more array. Array 7 will have choice 3. Now, I'm just going to create another one quickly, which is array 8. Oops, let's do that. Oops, choice 3, not 13. Just going to copy this again. And here, array 8 is going to have the answer. So again, we looped around the results array, which has the data from the database, put it inside another array called res, and with each column from the database or each data, we pushed it inside another array. So array 2 now has the answer from the database, array 3 has the ID, array 4 has the question, etc. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create, just going to go down, I'm going to create a PHP for loop. So again, I'm just going to create another PHP statement. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do for x equals 0, x is less than 10, since there's going to be 10, since we have 10 questions. So 10 changes depending on how many questions you have in your quiz. And then we do x plus plus. We're just going to close the bracket, just like that. We're just going to close this. Oops. Okay. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to display our data. So what we can do now is we can now just modify this rather than writing everything again. So I'm just going to go down. We'll leave the for method for now, just leave that out. Okay, so now we can start. So what we can do first of all is we can remove this for each loop. We don't need this one, and this closing for each loop tab. Sorry, this one here as well, just for now. Actually, we'll need this. We'll use this PHP loop to close the for loop. So we'll leave this here. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all, again, let's leave the for method post. Okay, so where we have here row equals quiz ID and row equals question, we're going to change this now. So as you can see, quiz ID is now array 3. So what we're going to do is inside here, we're going to rub this out and we're going to have array 3. Again, we're going to have an open bracket inside here, x, just like that. Again, x is coming from the for loop. So it's going to loop around it 10 times, and it's going to display. So same thing with the for each loop, however here we're using a for loop. And instead of doing, so last we did row and we had the data, it was taking the data array 3, and that has the quiz ID. And again, similar here. So question is array 4. So I'm going to do is going to do array 4, and again similar. I'm just going to have it as x, just like that. So basically it's going to loops around it 10 times, and every 10 times it's going to display the data. So I'm going to remove this because as shown in the example, what we're going to do, we don't need to display all 4 of them. We're just going to display the user's correct answer. If the user got it wrong, we're going to display their wrong answer along with the correct answer. So we don't need this. Just going to remove this. Okay. And what I'm also going to do is I'm also going to remove this. just like that. Okay, so now inside here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a PHP if statement. So I'm going to do open PHP. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the user's answer with the answer inside the database. So if we go up quickly, as we can see here, we put the answer inside an array called array2, and the user's selected answer, which they selected from the quiz, is array1. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an if statement just here, and we're going to say if, array2, which is the answer from the database, so the correct answer. And again, same thing. So we're going to loop it around 10 times. So it checks 10 times rather than having to do it for each 10 questions. So if array2 does not equals array1, so if the answer in the database does not match what the user so the user's answer, so what they selected. So again, same thing. We do x. Just gonna close the bracket and then open bracket. Just gonna close it like that. So now inside here, so if the user's answer does not match the answer in the database, what I'm gonna do is I want the user's answer to be, the user's selected answer to be in red, just to show them that they got the answer wrong. So I'm going to do open p tag. I'm going to do span, just so I don't, because right now I don't want to create a new CSS style sheet. I'm just going to show you through embedded CSS. So span style will make the background color of the text I'm going to make it red, so I'm just going to have it as, let's do FF9C9E, just a nice light color. I'm just going to close this, and now inside here I'm going to put the user's the incorrect answer the user chose. I'm going to do open bracket again, so same thing, we do dollar, array1, so $x, just going to close it, and again we do span, then we can do p. So here, if the user's answer does not match, the user's answer will be in red to show them what they selected, and it will be in the color red. And also what I'm going to do, we are also going to display the correct answer, so the user can see what the correct answer is. So I'm going to do again open p, again similar, so it will be span style, equals background color. Okay, and again for this color, what I'm going to do is we're going to have it, sorry, this quickly, keyboard's going weird. Okay, so I'm going to have it as a light green color. So I'll have it as let's do AD FFB4. We'll do it as that. Again, we'll close it, and now inside here I'm going to display the user's correct answer. I'm going to do equals, and the correct answer is array2. I'm going to have it open, $sign. I'm just going to close it like that. Span. I'm going to have it as p, just like that. And now I'm going to, because this closing tag was for the for loop, I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to use it here for the if loop. So now that we have an if statement that says if the user's selected answer does not match the answer in the database in the answer column, it displays the user's answer in red and the correct answer from the database answer column in green. Now what we need to do is we need to create an else statement that says if the user's answer does match whatever's inside the answer column, it will display the user's answer in green. So what we're going to do is after the closing bracket, so after we closing the if loop, we're going to create an else statement. It's going to open the else, just like that. And inside here, what we're going to do is we're going to do, again, I'm just going to copy this. So this is the user's answer. As you can see here, the user's answer, we made it in the color red. However, in the else statement, we're going to say that if the user's answer does match the answer column in the database, over here, the user's answer will be in green rather than in red. So I'm just going to copy the green color. I'm just going to paste it here. So now here, the user's answer will be in green. So let's just go over this one more time. So if the user's answer does not match the answer column inside the database, it will display the user's answer in red and the answer inside the answer column in the database in green. However, so else, if it does match, the user's answer will be displayed in green. And now here we need to just close the PHP statement. So this PHP statement closes this else. So I'm going to create another closing to close the for each. So we're just gonna close it like that. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we're just gonna save this, and we're going to refresh the page, just like that. Because before we run it, we'll just see if everything else is fine. Okay, over here we'll leave the form method for now, because over here what we're going to do is when the user clicks start again, they can start the quiz from the start. However, we'll do that at the end. So for now, we'll just see if everything is working fine. So I'm going to save this. So refresh the page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a mixture of right answers and wrong answers. So what is the capital of Spain? That's Madrid. What is the most populated country in the world? So that's China. This one is Dubai, but we'll choose Morocco. This one is Canberra, but we're going to choose Sydney. Over here, we'll choose East Africa. That's the incorrect answer. This is the correct answer. This is the correct answer. Capital of Russia. This is the incorrect answer. Over here, this is the correct answer. And this is the correct answer. So when we click submit, as you can see, if the user selects the correct answer, it will be in green. And if the user selects the incorrect answer, the user's incorrect answer will be in red, and the correct answer will be in green. Just like so. So this is the user's answer, incorrect answer, and this is the correct answer. So this is taken from the database. As you can see, this is all working fine. Okay, so the next step, what we're going to do is we want it to display the user's score out of 10. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go just to the top here, and over here we're just going to create a variable called score. So I do PHP so we're just going to have it, so score, we're going to have it as 0. Okay, just like that. Now what we're going to do is going to go down here to our if statement. So as you can see, we did the if the user's answer does not match, we do this. Else, if the user's answer does match. Now inside here, just going to go a bit down here, we're going to do score, which is the score variable. Before I do that, I need to just do a PHP opening tag. So we're going to do score equals score plus 1. So I'm going to close it, just like that. So every time the user gets it correct, it will add 1 over here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we want to display the user's answer out of 10. So I'm just going to do it here. I'm just going to create a H2 header. It's going to have your score. It's going to close the H2, and then in the H1 I'm going to have opening PHP tag equals, and inside here I'm going to display the score. Just going to close it. Oops. Just like that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do out of 10. So this is the HTML code. I'm just going to close the H1 tag. So again, here I have it as 0. We're adding 1 all the time. We're going to display it here at the bottom. So lastly, if we just save this, okay, just make sure there's no errors. That's fine. Okay, so let me just, for now we'll just select everything. Just make sure I have some correct answers. So we can do anything here. The reason I'm selecting all of them is because I have it as required. I'm going to click submit. And you can see here it says 5 out of 10. If we check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the score is 5 out of 10. Okay, now lastly what we're going to do is we want the user now, so we go back to the code here. Here we have a submit button. Instead here we're going to have a button which says start again. So if I go here, instead of submit, I'm going to have it as, let's do play again. Just like that. And now inside here, oops, I'm going to target the welcome controller. I'll show you why we're targeting the welcome controller. And inside the welcome controller, we're going to target the index. So now if we quickly open the welcome controller, so if we go to controllers, the welcome, this was made default by CodeIgniter. Inside the welcome controller, at first we loaded as the home page quiz game. So we want that to happen. So when the user clicks start again, it will direct them to the first screen. So here we're saying that when the user clicks the submit button, it will go to the welcome controller, which is this, and it will go to the edit function. Inside the not edit function, index function, and inside the index function, it will load the view quiz game. So if we go here, so this is done. So now if we save this, so I continue. So now if the user clicks on play again, it will direct them back to the home page. And now the user can, so they can play the quiz, they'll get their score, and they'll click on, they can't click on submit because every field is required. I made it required, however it's up to you whether you want it or not. So if I close this, so I'm going to select some correct answers, some not correct answers. Just like that, and then click submit. You get your score. You can see the answer, and they have the option to play again. So I really hope you liked this tutorial. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for further videos, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below and I'll try to help. So thank you, and really hope you liked it.